Mr Chair.
I call the honourable member Mark Mitchell.
Mr Chair. It's a pleasure to take a call on Vote Police, Mr Chair, and I'd just like to also acknowledge and congratulate the police membership, Minister Tolley, Commissioner Marshall, Deputy Commissioner Mike Bush and Deputy Commissioner Viv Rickard. In a service like the police, Mr Chair, strong leadership does matter, and you will get results and good morale through strong leadership, and the police service at the moment are enjoying very strong leadership. Mr Chair, I'd like to talk a little bit about the two pillars that the Police Commissioner has announced and the Minister Tolley has announced as being the cornerstone of how policing is going to be rolled out and continue to move forward. And for me, it's quite an exciting change, and it really is a fundamental change in the way the police are doing business and the way that they are serving our communities. And it's actually not just a change within the police service. We have the Minister of Social Development here today as well, and I have to say that her ministry is taking the same approach. And historically, the police or government agencies were often seen as a fairly threatening or intimidating organisation to engage with, for people to go in and seek help. And I think that with the first pillar, which is the prevention first, the police are going a long way towards actually breaking down those barriers, getting rid of those historical barriers and getting out more into the community. And going back to when I served, I mean, really a lot of what we did was reactionary. We'd get in our police vehicles at the beginning of the shift and we'd go out and we'd react. We'd attend to jobs. We wouldn't really interact with the community a lot outside of that initial response. Our community constables really were tasked with doing that, and they were just a very, very small number. We've had what's called the neighbourhood policing teams, which are now being deployed around the country, and I'd just like to take the opportunity actually to commend the area commander in my own electorate, Inspector Scott Webb and his team, because we've actually been very successful and they have rolled out the prevention first model in the electorate, and it's working very well and it's getting fantastic feedback from the community. But in the last 2 or 3 months, I've been able to get out and visit the Warkworth Police Station, the Whangaproa Police Station, Orewa, Tauranga with Minister Bridges yesterday, and Counties Manukau. And we were lucky to, as the Law and Order Select Committee, to actually go up to Counties Manukau and have a look and see what they're doing with their neighbourhood policing teams. And I have to say that it is very, very impressive how they're rolling that program out and how they're really getting into the communities now. And not only are the police enthusiastic about it, and it is a major shift in the way that they think and the way that they do business, but not only were the police officers on these neighbourhood policing teams extremely enthusiastic about it, and you could see that they'd taken real ownership of the communities and the areas that they were responsible for, but it's obvious that the communities are responding to it as well. And when you see these guys out there every day, they'll go out and they'll put community meetings together. They've got a marquee that they'll just take out to a local park. They'll put it up and they'll get everyone out of their houses, out into the park, where they'll actually interact with them, find out what the real issues are in the communities, and then start to be proactive in how they address them. And this is a really big fundamental change in the way that policing has been done in New Zealand. And I think that it's going to go on strength to strength, and we'll continue to see the great results that we are seeing. And coming back to social development, this is the same model that's being rolled out as well in many ways, as these barriers are being broken down, and all of a sudden people are feeling confident in interacting with government departments that before they may not have felt very comfortable about. In relation to policing and seeing a higher presence of police out on the streets, I remember in 2005 I drove from Auckland down to Taupo, a trip that I made fairly regularly. And because I actually policed in that area, I always took an interest in seeing how many police were actually out on the road. And in 2005, I made a trip from Auckland to Taupo and did not see one police car or one patrol in that whole time on State Highway 1. This year I made the same trip and I saw 9 patrols. between Auckland and Taupo. When I visited these police stations, and in particular Tauranga, Mr Chair,
I call the honourable member Mark Mitchell.
And in particular Tauranga yesterday, the thing that strikes me is that you'll walk into a mess room, into an area where normally the guys are working, and there'll only be 2 or 3 policemen in there. The rest of them are out on the street. The rest of them are out in the community. And I think that this is a very, very positive thing for our communities. They're seeing their police out there more. They're taking more of a prevention-first approach where they're actually getting in there and identifying what the issues are before they even become an issue, rather than reacting. So I just think that this is a very good model, and I know we're going to continue to see fantastic results. Thank you.
The question is that vote police stand part of the schedules. Those that opinion, please say aye. The contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that vote serious fraud stand part of the schedules.